Hey Isaac Southern Cone, it's Johanna DeCotis from the US, and I'm running for MCVP OGX in Exchange Delivery. I figured this video would be a way for some of you guys who haven't had the chance to talk to me to get to know me a little bit more, find out why I'm running for this position, what kinds of ideas I have for it, and just so I can get across my excitement about this whole process and my hope that one day I can meet all of you. So I actually began my ISIC experience on the ICX team. I was a member of the ICX team for one semester before I decided I wanted to run for VP ICX in my LC. So I went ahead and did that and ended up getting it, and it was great. I mean, it was such a great experience to go through the interview process, think about what kinds of initiatives I wanted to enact to increase the incoming exchange to my personal LC. And it was also really unique, my term, and that I was the first full-termed LC VP ICX in my LC since we were a startup when I first joined. So after being in ICX for a few years, my term was 1 year, and I stayed on for another year to kind of help with transition and just kind of to see the next generation of ICXers grow. I decided to join the OGX team. I had always kind of had an interest in the OGX team, especially since I had been involved in the other side of it before, but this was especially increased after I went on my traineeship to Brazil last summer. That traineeship completely changed my life. I met so many incredible people. I learned so many new things about myself, about Brazil, about the culture there, and even learned to appreciate and see some different aspects of my own culture being put in a completely foreign situation. I learned self-confidence. I even learned more about ISIC, just seeing it from a different perspective. I think it really helped me. And I feel that going through that whole process of actually going abroad through ISIC gave me a unique perspective on how OGX works in our awesome network and student organization. And all the while that I'd been experimenting with the different sides of exchange, I'd also been really involved in member development and still am. I encouraged a lot of member development on my team when I was the VP of ICX in my LC. We accomplished this through many different avenues: mock sales calls, mock interviews, team building sessions, lots of training, bringing in externals to do training, things like that. Just different ways to engage the team, give them ownership over the organization and over what they were trying to accomplish in it, so they don't feel like they're kind of just doing it for the higher up. So that was really rewarding. And also, this entire time, I've been involved with the various methods that my LC has tried to encourage member retention and member development. Sometimes we've called it peer groups, sometimes we've called it home groups, mentors, peer leaders, things like that. So basically, I've been one of the leaders of those groups for the past 2.5 years. And it's been so rewarding to see people that I coached in the beginning and kind of help them get accustomed to ISIC and learning about it and finding where they fit in, to seeing them run for LCP, run for VP positions, run for MC positions, and go abroad themselves on life-changing traineeships. It's been incredible. So I guess after hearing basically my experience, what this all boils down to is that I've had such an amazing ISIC experience myself. I just want to share it with everyone. And probably the biggest factor in changing me and my ISIC experience was my traineeship. So I feel that engaging people through OGX and working together with ICX would really accomplish so much in reaching out to lots of people who are changing not only themselves when they go abroad, but also the people they meet when they go abroad, and when they come back, interacting with the people at home and telling them about their experience. I think there's no better way in changing yourself and changing your perspective and changing the perspective of others than just jumping out of that comfort zone and getting right into it. And I'm just so passionate about this that has really inspired me to apply for MCVP OGX down in Southern Cone. Specifically, I want to go to Southern Cone, number one, because I love Latin culture. I went to Brazil. I actually hang out with a lot of Latin people up here, and I just love the music, the food, the dancing, just the way people interact with each other. And I feel like going to Southern Cone, I'd have the opportunity to not only see that on one level, but you guys are 3 countries. There's something really unique about an MC, and I think it'd be great to be able to see that at multiple levels, get to work with such a multicultural and diverse team. I mean, that's invaluable experience you can use for the rest of your life, you know? And I mean, the opportunity just presents such a challenge to me in so many ways. Jumping out of my comfort zone once again into an unfamiliar place with an unfamiliar culture and language and just ways of doing things day to day. I mean, I think that's the hardest thing to get used to at first. And one of the most defining things that makes a place home is when you can get up every day and just have a normal day, just like the locals that live there. I'm working on my Spanish. I can understand pretty well, usually about 80-90% of what's going on. My speaking hasn't quite gotten there yet, but that was one of my other motivations for making it down to Southern Cone, just getting totally immersed. And one of the things I want to challenge about myself is to help grow that language skill for me. So I know that you guys are a relatively new MC and that you've been setting some pretty high goals for the past couple years to kind of get caught up with MCs that have been around for 30 or 40 years, which is not an easy thing to do, but I've also seen that you guys have made such great progress and that your numbers have been doubling every year for exchange, leadership experience is had, the number of LCs, the amount of people in those LCs. I mean, it's incredible. So first of all, congratulations and all of your hard work that you've done so far. Some of my ideas for the region, however, not that they would be totally going away from these past things that you've been doing, because obviously they're working, but I feel like coming from an MC that's so different and a part of the world where we just kind of maybe have looked at ISIC a little differently, I feel like would bring just an invaluable perspective to how we could kind of integrate some different ideas and make some really awesome changes that could make us grow even more. So one of my ideas was that we should just create like more of a bond within the region, especially being 3 different countries. It's got to be kind of tough to stay on the same level all the time. Obviously, different things are going on in different countries. Everybody's seeing things a little bit different because the cultures aren't completely the same, obviously. So I think it'd be great if we just all kind of got together a little more on VChats, with blogs, with Twitter, things like that, electronically, but also personally, like making different LC visits, having different kinds of regional kickoff events, just bringing LCs together, bringing people together, creating more unity within the region so that when you're going out to the outside, we're one unified body that's really strong in what we're all trying to do and we're all on the same page. I also think it'd be really great to kind of standardize the procedures for OGX and EP selection and creating an EP pool with a lot of diverse backgrounds and skill sets, and making sure that everybody's really marketable as much as they can be to the outside world of ISIC and just in the job market in general. And I feel like having standardized procedures would offer peace of mind not only for people going abroad, but also the people coming in to Southern Cone, and for the parents of these people. We can't ignore our families when we go abroad, and I think it's really important to include them in the whole process. And I know when I went on my traineeship, I tried to make sure a lot of things were done a certain way to make sure that I was comfortable with it, my parents were comfortable with it, and I feel like just making that standardized across the board would establish us as an organized, competent, and just very desirable MC to go and be a part of. So thanks so much, guys, for your time and for listening to all of my ideas and a little bit about me. I, of course, have more ideas, but I want to keep this short for you guys. But thanks for giving me the opportunity to go through this process with you. And so that's me. Hopefully I'll get to meet all of you guys at some point soon. And thanks again. Bye.